Rolling Stone magazine ranked the Notorious Big's Ready to Die album as the greatest hip-hop album of all times. But is it? Out of a list of 200 classic hip-hop albums, 300 artists, critics, producers, and music industry elites, Ready to Die is the debut album for the Notorious Big, aka Biggie Smalls. And over 30 years later, we are still talking about this album that was released on September 13th, 1994 on Bad Boy Records. So let's ask the question, are we still feeling this project? Are we still arguing if Big is top 5 dead or alive? Did the Rolling Stone magazine get this right? Ready to Die by the Notorious B.I.G., the greatest hip-hop album of all times? I want to talk to the true hip-hop heads. You already know the answer in your chest. But the full story, the drama, the fights, the lawsuits, the beef, and the death? That story deserves to be told right. Sit down, because this one hits differently. The Boy from Bed-Stuy. Christopher George LaTorre Wallace grew up on St. James Place in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, one of the roughest blocks in New York City. His mother worked double shifts as a nursery school teacher just to keep the lights on. By the time Christopher was a teenager, he was selling crack cocaine on the corner. Not because he wanted to be a villain, because he felt like he had no other way out. He was funny, he was big, he was smart, and he had a gift, a voice, and a mind that turned pain into poetry. In 1992, a demo tape landed in the hands of DJ Mr. C, one of the most respected DJs in hip-hop. Mr. C was so blown away that he passed it to the Source magazine. And just like that, the streets of Brooklyn were about to hear their story told to the whole world. The making of something nobody expected. Recording for Ready to Die started in 1993 inside Daddy's House studio and later moved to the Hit Factory in New York City. And right away, there was tension. Biggie and his executive producer, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, were two completely different personalities with two completely different ideas. Biggie wanted to make raw street records. Puff wanted to make hits that could play on the radio. Producer Easy Mo Bee, who made beats like Gimme the Loot and Machine Gun Funk, recalls that even he was nervous in the studio. He told Biggie on the spot, "Yo, that line about the pregnant woman, be careful. You could have women's rights groups pulling your album off the shelf." The lyric eventually got blurred. Meanwhile, Puff was literally in everyone's ear every 10 seconds, rearranging, remixing, and pushing. There were moments where Biggie looked at Puff and said to the people around him, "This guy is trying to roll me. I can't rock like that." But somehow the friction between Puff's pop vision and Biggie's street soul created something that nobody planned. Pure magic. Biggie recorded Gimme the Loot doing two completely different voices in separate takes, then layering them so it sounded like two people. He recorded in total darkness, with all the lights off, memorizing full songs with no pen and no paper. And at the very end of the album for Suicidal Thoughts, producers turned off every light in the studio, Biggie walked into the booth, and when the gunshot sound played, he physically fell to the floor as hard as he could. That thud you hear? That was real. That was the period at the end of a sentence that nobody was ready for. The launch that Puff didn't plan. Before Ready to Die was even officially released, DJ Enough had gotten his hands on a cassette copy of the album. He was filling in for DJ Red Alert on Kiss FM, one of New York's biggest radio stations, and he did the unthinkable. He played 4 unreleased tracks from the album on live radio. The phone lines exploded. The city went crazy, and within minutes, Puff Daddy was on the line, furious, cursing DJ Enough out for leaking music. But the damage, the beautiful damage, was already done. New York had heard Biggie, and New York wanted more. Ready to Die officially dropped on September 13th, 1994 on Bad Boy Records and Arista Records, and by the end of that year, it was already certified gold. Hey, real quick, if this story is already hitting you, just go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I know you didn't come here to be asked that, but you'll want to see where this goes. Trust me, we are just getting started. The fights, the lawsuits, and the drama nobody talks about. Not everything about Ready to Die was smooth. Behind the scenes, it was a war. Stevie Wonder himself blocked Biggie from using a sample on Me and My Bitch, a Minnie Riperton song that Stevie had written. The message back from his team was simple. I love the song, but this cursing, I'm not with it. You can't use it. The production team had to go back and rebuild the whole beat from scratch. Then there was Method Man, who appeared on the track The What and later told everyone he had to hunt Puff Daddy down for weeks just to collect his $2,500 payment. $2,500 for one of the most memorable guest verses on the album? And years later, in 2006, a federal court ruled that Bad Boy Records had illegally sampled music for Ready to Die, Machine Gun Funk, and Gimme the Loot. Producer Pete Rock also went on record saying that Puff heard his beat idea for Juicy at his house and used it without proper credit. And Biggie himself almost never made the album at all. He had been staying in a drug house in North Carolina. Puff sent him a ticket back to New York. The very next day, that drug house was raided by police. One day. That was how close this story almost ended before it started. The biggest beef in hip-hop history. On November 30th, 1994, just weeks after Ready to Die dropped, Tupac Shakur was shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan. Tupac survived. And then, from his hospital bed, he wrote a statement pointing the finger at Biggie and Puff Daddy, accusing them of knowing about the robbery in advance. Biggie denied it, Puff denied it. Lil Cease, Biggie's right-hand man, was actually in the building that night and told the story of seeing Tupac in the lobby being robbed. The beef between Biggie and Tupac took what was already a competitive East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry and turned it into something dangerous and personal. The music industry would never be the same. The numbers don't lie. Here is what the world decided. Juicy peaked at number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. Big Papa went all the way to number 6. The album itself hit number 15 on the Billboard 200 and kept climbing. It was certified gold in just 2 months, double platinum the following year, and by April 2018, it had been officially certified 6 times platinum by the RAIA. Rolling Stone magazine ranked it number 22 on their list of the 500 greatest albums of all time in 2020, and number 1 on their list of the 200 greatest hip-hop albums of all time. The death that made it immortal. On March 9, 1997, at just 24 years old, Christopher Wallace, the Notorious B.I.G., was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles, just weeks before his second album, Life After Death, was set to drop. His murder has never been solved. To this day, nobody has been charged. The city of Brooklyn lost its king. Hip-hop lost one of its greatest voices. And Ready to Die, his only studio album released while he was alive, became something far bigger than music. It became his testimony. Bomani Jones said it perfectly. The entire legend of Biggie Smalls was built off of this one album. It truly revived what people thought about New York rap. The verdict. So, is Ready to Die a classic album? The answer is not yes. The answer is beyond yes. It is a Brooklyn street corner, a dream, a warning, a confession, and a prophecy, all wrapped in 17 tracks. It is the album that put East Coast hip-hop back on top. The album that launched Bad Boy Records. The album that introduced the world to one of the greatest rappers who ever picked up a microphone, and the album that ended, just like the man who made it, too soon, with a gunshot and a heartbeat that we have never forgotten. Ready to Die is not just a classic, it is the standard that every classic gets measured against. But the greatest hip-hop album of all time, in my opinion, is debatable. Y'all let me know.